What kind of faith would make a man step into boiling oil with his own son? In a time when belief meant torture and silence meant survival, one man and a boy chose martyrdom. This isn't folklore. This is the real story of Saint Vitus, the boy saint who defied an empire and paid with fire. You're watching The Dark Minute, where real history is darker than fiction. Today, we're diving into a story that blends pain, devotion, and death. It begins in ancient Sicily, with a child who refused to bow, and ends with one of the most brutal executions the Roman Empire ever witnessed. Vitus was born around 290 AD in Sicily. At just 7 years old, he did the unthinkable. He converted to Christianity. His father, a powerful pagan, was outraged. He tried everything: beatings, starvation, even bribery. But Vitus wouldn't give in. Then, strange things started happening. People said he healed the sick, calmed the insane, drove out demons. Some believed he was touched by God. Others thought he was cursed by something darker. Either way, his father had enough. He turned his own son over to the Roman authorities. But fate, or faith, had other plans. Vitus escaped with 2 loyal companions, Modestus, his teacher, and Crescentia, his caretaker. Together, they fled across the sea, living in the shadows. But you can't hide from Rome forever. Eventually, all 3 were captured and brought before one of the cruelest emperors in Roman history, Diocletian. Now here's where things get strange. Diocletian's son, possibly epileptic or mentally ill, was suffering. No healer could help. In desperation, the emperor called for Vitus. The boy laid hands on him, and the child was healed. But then came Diocletian's demand. Now thank the Roman gods. Vitus refused. That single word, no, sealed their fate. Diocletian ordered the worst punishment. They were to be boiled alive. Bound together, Vitus, Modestus, and Crescentia were thrown into a cauldron of boiling oil. Some say it was molten lead, others say tar. But here's the bizarre part. Witnesses claimed the fire didn't touch them, that the boiling oil didn't burn, that they stood in the flames, unharmed and smiling. Diocletian panicked, ordered them beaten, starved, tortured again. But the next morning, all 3 were found dead, peaceful, as if they'd simply fallen asleep. News of their death spread across the empire. Soon, Vitus was declared a saint. Churches rose in his name. Pilgrimages began. He became one of the 14 holy helpers in Europe, saints people called upon during plagues. Ironically, Saint Vitus became the patron saint of dancers, epileptics, even actors. The disease Sydenham's chorea, a condition that causes uncontrollable movements, was nicknamed Saint Vitus's dance. And every year on June 15th, his feast day is still remembered. A boy who never gave up his faith. Saint Vitus wasn't a warrior. He wasn't a king. He was a child with enough conviction to challenge an empire, enough strength to suffer without hate, and enough faith to step into fire with his family and never scream. His story is buried in legend, yes, but behind the myth is a real boy who faced down Rome and won something even greater than survival: immortality. Thanks for watching The Dark Minute. If history like this chills your spine, subscribe. There's more darkness to uncover.